Hey guys, what is up? Austin here, aka Bowtie Guy 97. Today is the day that we're going to be doing the lift on the 2004 Silverado here. I know I've been telling y'all all about it. Here's all the pieces. We're at my buddy's shop there, Austin's Auto Service here in Roanoke, Virginia. If you're in the area, they do good work. But we're using his lift to do it. I'm going to cut the intro short because I don't want the video to be really long. I just want to get to the objective points and show y'all how we're doing the lift and you know what it looks like after. We've already taken the wheels off. They're sitting over here. We were just getting started. We ran down to get a torsion key tool because I forgot it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, so we're making pretty good progress here. We've gotten the calipers, rotors off. See, I've got the torsion keys unloaded. See, there are the keys. We are keeping the leveling keys in it because I no longer have the stock keys. So those are the rough country leveling keys we're going to use. It's not a big deal. You can do it. Just you don't crank them up as far as you would the stock keys, because you know, if you crank them all the way up, we could have 6 inches of lift on the front and 4 in the rear, but that's stupid. We're not getting into that. That's a whole other conversation for another video. But so we've gotten that off. The first step is going to be the spindles up front here. So we're going to have to take the upper control arm off, the lower control arm, CV axle, and we're going to need to get a big old 35 to take that axle nut off. We'll go ahead and rip the shock out too. So like I said, I really don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long, so I'm going to be kind of subjective. I will do a video after the lift is done and we will go into more depth. I will talk more about it, about the components and all that other stuff, but this video is going to mainly be the installation of how we did it and the process. So like I said, right now we're working on the front end, getting the hub and all that apart. Went ahead and got the torsion bars unloaded, so let's keep going. All right guys, so like I said, trying to keep the video where it's not so ridiculously long. We've gotten really far. So there is the knuckles, CV axles, everything is off here. You've got upper, lower control arms free. Like I said, CV axles out. Right now we are getting the diff, prepping the diff to come down. This is the part where you have to start cutting. And when we drop the diff down, you have to cut the diff bracket and cut the cross member. And I'm going to do kind of I'm really going to show y'all how that goes down, because that's the biggest thing about these kits is having to cut. So we also have to drill into the lower control arm. So I'll keep you posted. Like I said, we're going to get on this differential and get it lowered down. And you do have to disconnect the front drive shaft, as you can see here. And there's the bolt that holds it in here. Right now we are removing this cross member, and this right here is the piece you're going to have to cut once you lower the cross member. Once you take the cross member and lower the diff down. So we're going to go ahead and drop this down, and I'll show y'all what we're going to do after that. All right guys, so as you see here, I have taken the bolts out, and this rough country did a terrible job of trying to show how this comes out. So I don't have enough light, but there's 2 bolts on the passenger side. There's one that is ridiculously hard to get to up on the top, right below the motor for the differential, and you have the one right here in the back. Now the thing about this piece right here that runs right here is what has to be cut. We got to cut that out, and then we'll drop down. We have to cut the top piece off the differential. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and then I'm going to show y'all once the diff is down what I have to cut off the top. Alrighty guys, so here is the differential. We have dropped her down. This piece right here, this is the very top mount. This is what you cut. What we did is we had to cut the piece right here on the frame. Then you got to cut straight. You got to cut straight across there and remove this. So I'm just taking a reciprocating saw and cutting that off. Same thing like I did for that bracket. And then once we do that, we're ready to put it back in there. We'll get the drop down brackets and a new cross member in, and we can start putting the actual front lift on instead of taking stuff off. So let's go ahead and cut that off. All right guys, so let me grab this off the floor here so y'all can see what's cut off. So there's would be your diff before, there's the diff after. Rough country needs it cut for some clearance or whatever. When it goes back up in there, I guess I'll find out when I go to put it back up in there. But what we are going to do now is get the drop bracket for that side, and we're going to get the sleeves and everything put on the lower control arms, and we're going to start going in with the front lift finally. We've cut everything out taking everything off that needs to be out and off. And so now we just go up from here. All right, guys, so got the rear cross member in. I just kind of temporarily bolted it in here because we're working on the lower control arms right now. Here's the diff. There's the new bracket on the diff. Here is one of the control arms that is done with the torsion bar drop. Now, the reason it has this is a non-torsion bar lift, so the drop actually happens from the control arm itself. So there are the torsion bars. So when they go back up inside of the cross member and run across, they're basically at the same spot that they are from the factory. That bracket allows for that to work, so the torsion bar can go up inside of them. But we're making really good progress. It's really starting to come together now, and I'm feeling a whole lot better about it. There for a little bit, it kind of looked like it wasn't going to happen, but once we get the control arms done, it's we're just putting stuff in, and once I get the differential in, it's really going to come together, and you're really going to see it, because that's when we can put the front cross member on and bolt the lower control arms, and then it's just downhill slide from there. All right, guys, so we are currently working to get the diff back in. We were curious if you could put the diff in without grinding these fins down, but see, it just doesn't clear with the factory where the cross member is. So we had somebody run down to the shop and get us some grinding discs so we can grind that off and get that in. But I'm going to show y'all what we have to do to the lower control arm. See, as we drilled a hole here, what happens is, for the torsion bar drop, this bracket, there's where the torsion bar sets. This bracket sets in here, and that bolt holds it up in there. You have to drill that hole so it goes in here. And this is your non-torsion bar part of the lift. So the torsion bar can slide in here without doing a drop like I just talked about. So that's what you're having to do. Drill the hole through there. Got the sleeve inside of the existing torsion bar hole. And when she sets in here, the bars will run into it, and it won't be an issue, which you'll see here in just a second once we get all this stuff back up in here. All right, guys, so we finally got the differential in here. Front cross member is in, rear cross member is in. There's the new mount. She's sitting down in here. That was the hardest part. Let me tell you, that is not easy at all. You have really got to fight with this thing to get everything to line up. So that was a whole, I mean, we're over an hour just in doing the diff alone, which is terrible. But it's in there now. There's the front cross member. So what we're doing right now is we're still working on the control arms. We're almost done with those. So that one is done. The new spindle with the hub assembly for the driver's side is already together. Gotta hook back up the front drive shaft. So I got a good bit here to do. Sorry that I'm not filming me while I'm doing it, but this video, there's so much work that you've got to do. This video would have been 20 minutes long, but I will answer any questions, and I will go into more depth with another video so y'all know exactly what went down. All right, guys, we have made serious progress. Basically, the driver's side is done with the exception of the shock. Torsion bar is in, the brand new spindle, sway bar link. You got the bigger sway bar link. Really just need to hook, get the brakes, the shock on, brakes, and this side will be ready. As you see here, there's the torsion bar, and the torsion key is right in there. We're working on the other side right now. Here's what it looks like when it's, you know, pre-stage. Here's the lower control arm in, axle. So we got to put the whole spindle on this side yet. All right, guys, the front lift is done for the front of the truck. Here, spindle's in, shock's in, brakes are on, rotor, torsion bar, it's all set and ready to go. I just got to put the brakes on the other side, and we can put the wheels on it and drop it down. Just as a joke, we're actually going to lower it down with the front lift on just to see the crazy squat angle. So I will film that when we get to it. But here it is. You know, there's the shock, and it's all put together, and I'm pretty excited because it took a whole lot of work. There's the new sway bar end link, and yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. I'm really excited to get the rest of it done. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those brakes on, and then we'll drop it down, and I'll show y'all. All right, guys, so there we go. There's the front lift is on, sway bar links, cross members front and rear, wheels are on, torsion bars are tight, and we are ready to lower this thing down and see what it looks like. And there you go. That's how much lift we got. There's the front. We still got to do the back. So she's squatted right now, but we're going to go ahead and get started on the back. All right, guys, so we got the 4-inch kit on. The front's just a little bit higher than the rear, but there you go. She's all lifted up 4 inches. It's well after midnight here. I'm tired. I'm going to continue the video tomorrow in the light, and we can talk about everything that happened and go over the lift some more. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and go home for the night and then do the rest of the video in the morning. But it looks fantastic. We were about 10.5 hours doing it, so it took a good bit, but I'll get into that tomorrow. All right, guys, so I'm filming this the next day. The lift took us about 11 hours to do because, you know, we did it ourselves. The biggest obstacle that we faced was by far the differential. Getting it out was half the battle. You know, once you get it down, you got to modify it and cut the top mount off. And then, you know, we were curious about the fins. You know, they say you have to trim the fins to get it in there. Well, we went ahead and jacked it up and gave it a shot with it, and you do. The fins hit the crossmember drop. And I'm not really sure if you can see it back in there, but the diff is sitting down in there, and you can see where I've grinded the fins away. That was tremendously time-consuming. The differential between, I mean, the entire time that we had in just dealing with the diff was probably 3 hours, and I'm not even kidding. We'd move away and try to get something else done because, you know, we just felt like we were getting nowhere with it the whole night. The second thing that took the most time was modifying the lower control arms, which you saw in the video and on my Instagram. You know, having to drill the hole through it and get all that lined up, that was the second most time consuming. Everything else really wasn't that bad. You know, switching the hub assemblies over to the new spindles and bolting it up really was the easy part when you think about what all we had to do to the diff and the lower control arms. The rear took no time at all. We had some guys come over and help us because we were worn out. And like I said, we'd been working already for about 10 hours when they showed up. So they put the blocks in. Go back here so you can see. So there you go. At the 4-inch blocks. They're anti-wrap blocks, so you have 4 U-bolts. You got the 2 little ones and the 2 big ones. And there's the brand new shocks. I have not put the Rough Country stickers on those shocks yet. But there's the old blocks, the old spindle, old shocks, skid plates that don't go back on. You know, of course none of the skid plates work because you dropped everything down. The thing that I completely forgot about was when you lift these Chevys and you put those new spindles, it pushes the front tires way out. I mean, way out. I mean, that is, if you guys watch my latest stance video, that's way further out than it was. I mean, that's like putting an inch and a quarter, inch and a half spacer on the front is what it would look, that's what you would get if you were to do that. And that is crazy, and it looks silly because the front tires are way out, the rear tires are just sitting in. So what we might have to do is try to find a real good, trusted aftermarket wheel spacer. You know, spend the right money and get 2 of them for the rear, maybe like 1.5 inches to try to get them to sit with the front. Because I mean, that's the only thing I can do to try to make it look right. Because like I said, you got the rear tires are sitting in, and I got the front tires sitting way out. So that's going to be something coming here soon. For all y'all who DM me on Instagram, I really appreciate it. Y'all were like really into it. I really did my best to update that story. And I'll do that for every single modification that we do to the truck. And if you haven't already, follow me there because I try to keep everything updated on there. Instagram's typically the first to see it. But there it is, guys. We've got about 22 inches of clearance from the bottom of the rockers. I just took a measure because we were getting the keys, everything leveled out right. You know, I kept the leveling keys inside of the truck. So in theory, if I crank the leveling keys up, I could have 6 inches of lift in the front. And I did that as a joke when we first dropped it down. And you probably saw that. It was sitting crazy high in the front, but we were just messing around. But the biggest thing that I talked about that I wanted with this was good CV axle angles. That's perfect. I mean, they're almost straight. And that's what I wanted, was nice straight axle angles and no more binding and everything else. So it came out awesome. You know, now I'm kind of looking at it and I wish I had 35s, because it's eating these 33s right up. But like I said, we're going to get new wheels and tires here into the winter, so we can hold off. We'll be all right. But I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Austin. This is his shop. I'm going to put his Instagram down in the description below, all his information. Without him, we couldn't have done it at all, because I needed a lift to do it. And I had a bunch of guys here, too many to name here in the video, that helped me, but thank you a lot, because I couldn't have done it by myself. It's a ton of work. So I appreciate y'all watching. There's going to be another video coming out once I get the truck all cleaned up, and we can talk about my impressions of the lift and how I like it and what's going good and what's going possibly bad, which I doubt. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that y'all really enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of choppy there at the beginning, but you know, Trump was trying to get the work done, and I got it done. It's just a whole lot of work. But thanks y'all for watching. Take care. Have a great day.